Hello everyone. Today we're going to share a set of practice questions about IA storage. We'll be going through 6 questions in total. Let's get started. The first question is about the requirements driving the development of storage technology. What are they? The 4 options here are enhancing resource utilization, data sharing, extending connection distance, and security. So first of all, when it comes to storage, right, how can we make it better? Basically, it needs to be faster, right? Faster and stronger. And of course, it also needs to be more secure. So that's the first point. As for enhancing resource utilization, that naturally means being able to use resources efficiently, right? For example, storage space, bandwidth, and so on. These are definitely important. Now, the second option is data sharing. This mainly supports safer and more efficient data sharing among multiple users and multiple systems, so that's also not a problem. As for option C, which is about zero distance scalability, it basically means supporting remote connections, which is like our storage. Here, it supports cross data center operations, including data transfer between your local environment and the cloud, and so on. This essentially enhances the effectiveness of data backup. As for the last option regarding security, actually, things like data encryption, access control, and anti-tampering security mechanisms are, of course, not an issue. So all 4 of these options are actually correct, because the development of storage technology mainly needs to meet these requirements simultaneously, such as efficient utilization, data sharing, and connectivity, scalability, and security protection. These 4 needs correspond to our 4 options. All right, that's our first question. Next, let's look at the second question. The second question is, during the data migration phase, data is generated by the terminal and saved to storage devices. This is a true or false question. First of all, the process of data migration in general is actually about transferring already existing data, right? From one storage location to another, just like the remote connection mentioned in the previous question. Right? It's just like extending the distance of a remote connection. So in the migration phase, the key point is that it's about moving data from one place to another. But what does the question actually say? It says that the data is generated from the terminal and then saved to the storage device. This is actually a bit problematic, right? Because in reality, it's not about data being generated from the terminal, but rather about moving data from the old terminal to the new terminal. That's the actual process here. So for this question, we should choose the second option. That's incorrect. Now let's take a look at the third question. The third question is actually quite extensive. Huawei provides a variety of storage operation and maintenance tools. Here, we are asked to match the operation and maintenance tools to a position in the diagram. Here, we can see that there are 4 options in total. We have 4 options in total here. On the left, in the storage section, this is the first, then the second, third, and fourth. So how do we match them? First, we need to look at the options on the next page. They are labeled 1, 2, 3, and 4. The left side shows our 4 options. Let's first take a look at what the options are. The first option is our device manager. The second option is electronic services, and the third is the smart toolkit. The last one is our eSWICE cloud platform. So here, the corresponding first one, let's take another look at the one above. As we just saw, where should the first option, device manager, be placed? Where should we put it? Let's take a look at the diagram and see which one should be the device manager. As we can see, the very bottom layer is actually at the lowest level of storage. Which part exactly? It's actually this part here, right? The lower left part here. So in this case, it is actually this section here on the left. What is it used for? It's used for device management and resource control. So this is exactly where we should place our device manager. So the first option here is to place the device manager. And the second is electronic services. So among 2, 3, and 4, which one should be electronic services? Actually, it's right here in our remote O&M section. This part supports remote operation and maintenance as well as service support. So this exactly corresponds to East-West electronic services. To be precise, this is actually support for remote operation, maintenance, and services. Then the third one is our smart toolkit. So now there are only 2 options left, positions 3 and 4. Let's take a look at these 2 positions. First, down here, as we can see, it says storage service tool, right? So this basically corresponds to our storage. A tool for services, which is standard. It corresponds to our smart toolkit, which is used for things like delivery, upgrades, and also for troubleshooting and other such functions. So our Smart Toolkit should be placed in this position. As for this question, you can actually refer to the content shown in the diagram, which is acceptable. Actually, the content in the diagram is quite straightforward. Now, the last platform, right? That is this one here. The one that can remotely execute commands to manage all the data we've mentioned earlier, that is ultimately our management cloud platform. So naturally, our cloud platform will suffice. So what does it mainly provide? It mainly offers our cloud-based operation and maintenance services to manage the content you see on the left. This is our third question. It looks like the diagram is very complicated, but actually, you can just rely on the corresponding information in the picture to make your choice for this question. The first part is our device manager. Here, the one responsible for remote operation and maintenance and service support is our electronic service. The third part is used for delivery, upgrades, and troubleshooting. That is our intelligent toolkit. Finally, unified management is carried out by our cloud platform. So that's our third question. All right, next let's take a look at the following one.
Let's pause for a short announcement. Friends, if you're currently preparing for this ITification exam, or if you've been studying for a while but don't feel your preparation is very efficient, this is something you shouldn't miss. Our team has been focused on its certification dumps for 16 years, doing one thing consistently, organizing the most up-to-date, most exam accurate, and easiest to use dumps to help candidates pass their exams more efficiently. Our dumps closely follow official exam updates. They are stable, highly accurate, and well aligned with real exam questions, allowing you to prepare with more confidence while spending less time. If you'd like to get the dumps for this exam and pass the certification faster, you can contact us directly via WhatsApp or YouTube private messages. We're happy to explain the latest update dates, dump stability, exam policies in different countries, as well as any current purchase discounts. Everything is clear and transparent before you decide. We also place great importance on payment security and privacy protection. The entire purchasing process is simple and secure, with no unnecessary data collection. Your personal information and privacy are fully protected. In addition, we provide 24/7 consultation and after-sales support. Whether you're just getting started or running into issues right before the exam, our support team will patiently and professionally help you analyze and solve problems. You're never preparing alone. Beyond this specific exam, our dumps cover almost all major IT certification tracks. If you plan to pursue other IT certifications in the future, feel free to reach out anytime. We'll give recommendations based on your goals.
Question 4. In this question, it says that during routine inspections, the engineer discovered an alarm on the storage device and performed quick maintenance. Then we're asked to choose an incorrect option. All right, first, during the maintenance process, option A is to check the indicator lights and fix the related faults. That doesn't seem to be a problem, right? Checking the hardware status makes sense. So what about option B? It is to restart the storage device. Restarting right here seems like it could solve some of these problems, but then again, stopping and restarting carries risks. That is, before we can fully determine the cause of the fault, if we choose to restart, what could happen? It could lead to data loss or even business interruptions. So actually, our first step should be to troubleshoot the cause. After finding the cause, what should we do next? That's right, then we proceed with the repair. Even if you really do need to restart, you still need to do something first. You should back up all relevant data and processes before restarting. That makes sense. If you just restart right away without preparation, that's definitely not acceptable. So for this question, the correct answer is actually option B, because restarting is just one method. Generally, we consider it a last resort, only when we really can't find the problem anywhere else. In that case, you can try restarting. But if you just restart without knowing anything at all, there's a lot of risk involved. As for option C, it means checking the service status and fixing related faults. This is similar to option A, which is about checking the hardware, right? Option C is about checking our specific service software, while option D is about checking system performance and handling related exceptions. That refers to the system side, specifically the usage of system hardware. For example, the usage rate of your CPU and memory, as well as disk usage and so on. So actually, options A, C, and D are all normal checks, right? Option B, on the other hand, is just straightforward and rough, just restarting immediately, which is unreasonable. So for this question, we should choose option B. Moving on to the next part, the specific question we would like to address is about our management service. Here, this is actually asking, among the following 5 services, which one belongs to the ITIL process, a process layer in the management framework. So first here, The 5 options are release management, configuration management, change management, problem management, and event management. This actually falls under what? It's basically a fundamental concept question. If you have some understanding of the ITIL process management framework, you'll know that the process actually includes or covers events, problems, changes, releases, and configurations. All these management processes, these 5 items, are actually part of it. So there really isn't much to judge here. It's simply a straightforward question. It depends on how familiar everyone is with the ITIL process management framework. These 5 are all included specifically. If you're not very familiar, you can try to remember them. Release, configuration, change, problem, and event. All of these belong to our framework. They are all part of the process layer in the ITIL process management framework. All right, that's question 5. Next, let's take a look at question 6. Question 6 is about a statement regarding our eSite, which one is correct. There are 4 options in total. First, option A says it uses a component-based architecture, and users can select the required components according to on-site needs. That is, actually, first of all, it really is modular. It is deployed in a modular way. So what does it support? It supports installing components based on specific needs. You install whatever you need. So option A is correct. Now, option B says it only supports Huawei devices. Actually, this is a bit one-sided because ours also supports what? It supports some third-party devices and can manage third-party equipment, so option B is actually wrong. As for option C, it supports the unified management of Huawei servers, storage, virtualization devices, switches, and routers. WLAN devices and firewalls can all be managed together. At first glance, it seems like a lot, right? Can it really manage all of them? Yes, it actually can. Basically, all our core devices, from servers to storage, virtualization devices, routing and switching equipment, and wireless devices. And firewalls as well. In other words, devices from all fields can actually be managed in a unified way. This is essentially Huawei's unified management platform, so all of this is correct. There's no issue here. Next, the last one. It adopts a BS browser-server architecture. Here, first of all, that's correct. Our eSet supports what? It supports browser access. Yes, it also supports browser access. So overall, to sum up, it's actually a unified platform, our Huawei Unified Operations and Maintenance Management Platform. It's component-based and adopts a BS architecture. It supports unified management of multiple types of devices. Moreover, it's not limited to Huawei devices only. So if option B is incorrect here, then the correct options are A, C, and D. That's our 6th question. All right, that's our sharing for today. If you need the complete question bank, you can leave a comment below and get this stable question bank at the best price. That's all for today, everyone. Bye-bye.